Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel again. If this is your first time, thank you for joining. If you're an OG, like I always call you, thank you for joining and coming back again. I really appreciate it and I do not take it for granted. February is wrapping up, and as much as Valentine's Day was one day, right? We are still in the month of love, and I said that I started a Cupid series where I had Debola Williams on a video sometime ago where she had also spoken about her long distance relationship. We're having the second episode on the series where I'm having an amazing couple. They've been married for 7 years. There's a lot to share and to learn from them. So don't go anywhere and enjoy. My guests.
Hello.
Say hi.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
So meet the Onasanyas. This is Bolu Onasanya, and this is his amazing wife, Larry Onasanya. I'm a family friend, a proud family friend. I've known Bolu.
I mean, for like how many years now?
As in, I've known Bolu since NYSC, and I
Right.
met Larry through Bolu, and now I'm Larry's best friend.
Yeah, so I mean, she was one person who I didn't feel like, oh, this one is about to come in sweet, because there's so many people like that. Yes.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there, but I mean, we don't roll like that. But thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for
On my
having us.
page, on my
It's a
channel.
pleasure.
Yeah, because I'm sure it's going to be a nice one. But before we go into the conversation at large, please go and subscribe now, and like as you see the video immediately. So let's just get right into it. You guys have been married for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into the inside conversation, but I would also like to know how you guys met. Just can you summarize? Just in quick 1 minute, how did you guys meet yourselves?
Your own version.
Facebook, really.
Okay.
I think before we met on Facebook, because we had to be Facebook friends, I was kind of like, I was in a teens club,
Okay.
Bambino in Ibadan then, so and she had come and we met casually. I think I was a bit
I'm not
popular
sure.
then.
I'm not even sure he remembers me.
I do not remember.
Because
She told me.
it was later I realized that I had written in my pink diary. I like to keep diaries.
Okay.
I'd written it to say, I met Bolu, and I didn't see it until after a while. I was like, oh, really? So we had met, so continue.
Yeah, so that was when we're still teenagers, right? So, and then we got into school. I was in OAU at the time, and then she dropped out of OAU.
What? Really? Did you drop out
She
from
dropped,
where?
she dropped out of school.
Inside family joke.
I just went, I just left, I went to
left
lit
school.
it.
Okay.
I think I was a bit popular at the time as well. So I was
Okay.
in front of one female hostel then, and a friend just, introduced me to meet Larry. I was like, hi.
It was Toby, right?
Yes, Toby.
So we were going, I can't remember where we were going to. We're just stepping out of Mo's, and then I was like, meet my friend Bolu. And that's it, casual meet. So that's like second time, right?
Yeah.
So the third time,
But you guys had met. So how many times you guys met?
Well, we're
yourselves?
teenagers.
So that's one.
one.
Then when I just finished pre-degree in OAU,
Two.
and I was
Two.
entering.
So this time it was 2014, I think. No, 2013, I guess. I just released a book
Okay.
called The God-Sized Void. It's a book I wrote and published in 4 days. So, so this guy reached out to me, and said, lovely book and all that. I read your book, but I found so many errors in it. I'm like, I wrote it in 4 days. What do you expect? I wrote and published in 4 days.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I also noticed, and then I've given an editor to work on it. We're actually doing a revised edition and all of that. So we kept chatting and all that. So I kept saying, sir, because I'm a very cautious
Oh, you were
person.
the one.
Yeah, so
Seriously?
because the DP was Bring Back Our Girls,
And then name is
and
also
the
Larry.
name was Larry. So I'm like,
So he
this
thought
has
I
to
was
be a
just
guy.
Yeah.
Until the person says, oh no, I'm a
lady.
don't call me sir, I'm a lady.
But
like,
didn't she sound like? Oh, it was
No, it was
chat.
chat.
Oh,
Facebook chat.
Okay.
and so I'm like, oh, a lady, okay. I don't like chatting on Facebook. So would you like to have my BBM pin?
Okay,
And
BBM.
we switched to BBM. We started chatting, and it was enjoyable. Because I enjoyed conversation. We have become very close. I was working.
So I'll say my own part as well.
I like how you took the conversation.
So it was just one midnight. I was scrolling through Facebook,
Yeah.
and I just saw how I wrote my book in 4 days. I'm like, okay, let's read the book. So I picked the book. It was online, and then I read the book. And prior to that time, I realized that I had, do they call it eagle's eyes, or I could pick out errors.
Okay.
Even till now, I can pick out errors like quickly. So, I noticed errors, and immediately I just sent a message. And then I think I got a reply like immediately. And I was like, okay.
So wait. So let me just hold it first. So you sent a message and immediately replied. Was it you like, okay, waiting, hoping, like, were you at that point where you're like, she should send me a message?
No, he that was the time. He didn't know that I was
thought it was a
doing.
guy.
Okay.
He just responded, because
okay.
he's, and then he said, there's a revised edition, blah blah blah.
So you guys had this conversation around
Right.
the book.
And then that was the end of it.
At what point was it like?
That was the end of it. Like
that
that
was
was
like this. Sorry,
that was the
it looks
end
like
of
this
it.
Larry that sounds like a guy. Even like say I did feel out.
And now that's what I'm saying.
That was
the end of it. Then one day I was
She
bored.
got bored. It's good to get bored.
Sometimes get bored.
I remember getting bored. I was just bored. I was like, okay, let me just go to my Facebook Messenger, and then I saw, and then I just said hello, and then from hello, hey, now we're married though.
From hello,
and the hello was not
Yeah.
I like this guy, or he wasn't anything else. It was just me just wanting to chat up somebody who I chatted up before. So it was just hello, and then like that.
you guys,
BBM pin, and then we started chatting every single day, calls every single day. He'll be talking to me, and then he still will born. His chicken still will get born.
That was once.
You know what I like? What I like about this conversation? I like the honesty in it. Like, yes, your chicken still got born.
But when we were always talking and everything,
it was burnt to crisp.
Like you got carried away.
It's good to get bored.
I remember getting bored. I was just bored.
And you forget your
Messenger, and then I saw, and then I just said hello.
But I mean, I think that.
And then from hello, hey, now we're married.
Started on a very high.
And then truth that we weren't, well, from my own side, it wasn't that I was like, this guy, I want to date him or anything. It was just plain, friendship and everything. And I think it was the same thing with you as well.
Yeah.
And it just transitioned into you guys dating.
Yeah, so
So in fact, at that time, I remember severally we would just joke that you're not my type. I would say that severally. That you don't have all my specs. And so we were friends.
What's your spec? What was your spec?
it's former spec.
Larry, what's the spec? I want to hear that.
I'm the opposite of his former spec.
Larry has to tell us. Larry, what's Bolu's spec? What would have been Bolu's spec?
He likes people that are big,
full
yes,
people.
now, like full option.
So I actually also realized along the line, I realized that it was conditioning. It was maybe the movies that I was watching. Deep inside, I really didn't like or fancy that kind of a thing. I was more intellectual. And that's what made us connect.
And still very
I remember one of the first questions I asked her, when I learned that she was working in a school, was that, if you're given a school now to manage, what would you do with it? Because my dad has schools, right? And then I'm learning somebody who is into education, and what she told me was that she wanted to change the system of education. She didn't like the way children were being taught at the time, and all that. She thought that the way she engages her students, they learn more, beyond the curriculum and all. So that was intriguing for me. So I started to ask questions, and so we would talk every time, and it was intellectual talk, deep stuff, how we can influence the world.
We had conversations.
So let me just say that the intellectual part of you, overwrote
every other thing.
Or was it overrode? Overrode. overwrote
Seeming
the
spec.
seeming spec of it.
At that time.
Okay, so I think let's just leave that how you met. I mean, now
Because it's a very long.
long
Yeah.
conversation. If you want to know, send Larry a DM, send Bolo a DM. Bolo here is an amazing say your market.
I'm an author, but most importantly, I'm in the business of spreading joy.
Spreading
My friends call me an apostle of joy. You know,
so send him a
He's
DM.
a joyed up guy.
Joyed up.
I'm sure he will be glad to tell you a few things.
Yeah.
But let's even so now we've established how you guys met. Also established the fact that it's okay to have specs, right? But
right.
what I pick out in here is that in your choice of when you decide to get married or be with someone you see a future with, it's okay to sift through.
Yeah.
It's not always about what you want.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are some things that, like, you know what, this really supersedes what I want and I'm ready to go for this. So
And they're hidden,
yeah,
unless you have those conversations.
you cannot have it. So having conversations again, I hope by writing down. I've done my best. But like, having conversations. So let me ask Bolu this next question. So you guys met each other, you guys started to date. From the point where you guys started dating to when you guys got engaged, how many years? So how long did you date for before you popped?
I think it was about a year.
A year.
It wasn't up to a year.
It wasn't up to a year.
Because
okay.
I proposed on the 1st of November,
Okay.
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah.
We met in 2014.
Okay.
We met around April on the first chat. Was around April 2014.
Oh, so it was not even up to a year at all.
No, it wasn't.
Okay. I like that it wasn't up to a year, and I really want to ask this question. There's a general belief that people cannot date for long. There's a general belief that you have to date for a long time before you pop the question. You guys need to have dated for 5 years, 4 years, 3 years before and you guys did not date for up to a year. So I want to ask Bolu now, what do you think, about this general perception, and then also linking it up to what was it about? I mean, so something has to make a decision, come to light. You guys had dated, if it's okay to propose to her the next day, you start dating anyways. But what was it for you that you know what? Nah, I'm ready to ask this woman to be my wife. So let's start from the first.
First, okay, I wasn't ready, but yeah, I get to.
Okay,
I'll get to that. First, time is a constant.
Okay.
Right. So don't make it a variable. The moment you start to vary, to say, it has to be maybe 10 years, 5 years for this kind of person. No, it's a constant. Now, what you do within time is what's important.
Yeah.
Right. So I have 24 hours. When we met, we would talk in the mornings. I usually will have a jog around, say, 5, 6 a.m., do like 2-3 kilometers, and then I talk to her.
Okay.
And I say, I have to get ready for work. I go to work. Once I see my first batch of patients, I was working in the hospital at the time, then I talk to her again. So our communication, by the time you aggregate the time we've spent together in a day, maybe we've done 8 hours out of 24 actually speaking with each other, having deep conversations. By the time you aggregate all of that versus somebody who is so busy that they are not able to create that time, and maybe they do 1 or 2 hours in a day, then you're starting to see that, okay, maybe it will take longer for them to get to a point where there's that synergy, compared to the time we spent together. So it wasn't that we spent 6 months together, but the number of hours we have spent to get to know each other. Because we could be together and you're eating, I'm eating, and we just go out. We don't really have deep conversations. We're both on our phones and stuff like that. That doesn't count for anything. So it's in the times you spend actually exploring the mind of your partner versus, getting to know this person, and then the person also getting to know you. That's what really counts, So it's not you have to spend. I have a friend that did 10 years of dating. Yeah. And they got married.
Are they still together?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know someone who dated a girl for 5 years, and then it didn't work out, and another one, and he went to the next one, and it was about a year, and they married.
Oh, wow.
You understand? So it's not in how long you guys tag each other as partners. You know, it's in how the deep conversations, how well you spend time together. You know, I think that's what counts.
So let me now. I love that you broke that down, but now quickly, you know, what was it for you?
What
was that
convinced you?
thing? Because a lot of things could have, you know, come together, but there had to be one or two things that's like, okay, because of this, I'm ready to go ahead.
So I think that we're in sync with best of friends, right? So that was, and one day, you know, so we'd be talking, right? And this is dating. I'm going to talk about proposal as well.
Okay.
You know, we've been talking and all that, but we never saw face to face.
Well, we never saw.
Right.
For how long?
For months, yeah.
Whenever.
For months.
And you're in the same Ibadan?
No.
I was
You're
in
in
Ife.
Ife, okay.
Yes.
It's not like it was in Tokyo and you're in Nigeria.
It was in Ife.
It was an hour away.
So it's just one bus.
You know, so you get, you know, so that day I remember walking, we were scheduled to meet. You know, I came from Ife, she came from work, food court in Bodija, and then I walked in. I was late, so she was walking out of food court. I saw this lady with bouncy hair, with leopard skin shirt, leather jacket, leather pants, and then with a leather jacket. You know, carrying a bag, and her name then was, our BBN name was Ewa, so it was like, Ewa, right? Like, okay. That's the girl, okay. I think she was using a very terrible phone.
Oh, wow.
So
the pictures of her that I've been seeing
didn't do justice to who he was seeing in real life.
You know, when I saw her, I was like, you know, and so we walked back into the eatery, and then we started to talk, and then she started to smile. Finish.
And that was
she finished your boy with a smile. It was at that point when I saw the smile. A smile literally lit up my world, and I just thought, this has to be my girl. You know, so. And then we spent the weekend. That weekend was my sister's introduction. The next day was my sister's introduction. You know, so I'd invited her as well. You know, and then I realized that
I was meeting the family.
Literally, like
automatically. I met his mom. I met very lovely people.
Oh my god!
Say that into the mic.
Very lovely people.
I hope they see this video.
They have to.
They will see it. You know, and I realized that his brother,
my immediate younger brother,
was the friend I had been looking for. Like,
why were you looking?
We were friends.
Okay.
In UNAB. And then we lost contact and everything.
So
and then this introduction that I went for, I saw him as
what are you doing here?
So let me just say, all of this just means that I mean, it might seem a little funny, but what I can just coin out of this is that there was a divine path.
We were going to meet anyway.
So both of you meeting. Because if we didn't meet him that way, you'd have probably met.
I mean, we had met as teenagers. We had met. You know, it was just like everywhere.
Okay. Because I was choking. Like I said, these people, there's a lot to learn from them. But because of the time here, I won't be able to. So if you want to send them a DM. So let me now, you know, and I'm linking the questions from what I'm hearing. You said you guys were best friends.
Right.
And
best friends.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, best friends too. Yeah, in Jesus said you continue to be best friends. You guys are best friends. And you know, talking about then, you know, you guys had built that. We know we've heard of marriages where, so let me first throw it like this. And I also ask Auntie Larry now. So I call her Auntie Larry. We all call her Auntie
It's just
Larry.
A brand name.
It's a brand name. So I might just chip in. You hear me say Larry, Auntie Larry. It's I roll my tongue. So we hear people say that I'm my partner's best friend. And then, do you really think that it is possible that your partner is your best friend? And I say this because, I believe that there are times where in your marriage, there are some things that you honestly might not be able to tell. Okay, let me say yours. In some marriages, there's some things that someone in marriage cannot tell their partner. But then they can tell, there's another friend I like that you said that, Bolu. I also want to hear just briefly, also like in from the as someone who is more like an intellectual joy speaker. Let me start with. You probably have related with marriages where it's a case of I can't tell my husband everything because I don't want him to overthink. I don't want to see me less than who I am. But then there's someone that is actually like my best friend. I tell these things. So what can you say about that as well?
So I think that it's normal for relationships, define your relationships, right? So once you have defined your relationship, you're able to know, okay, who I can tell what. But I understand that, the family is the smallest unit of a society.
Yeah.
And if you look at the structure of every society, you see the government, you see, and you realize that society in itself, it's a community that provides one thing, is security, and economy, and economic power and socio-economic, whatever it is. So I think security is what I'm actually going for, that the marriage should be a secure place. That's the original design. That if your partner is a best friend, is also, because every relationship, there are business partners that are not best friends, right? So once you're able to define your relationship is key, but you should, or the original design is for marriage to be able to carry security, that you should feel the safest with your partner. That's how it's supposed to be. So if it's not that, that's a bit of challenge, right? And if you also need to be secure as a person. So if you're finding security somewhere else, just make sure that it doesn't compromise the purpose of your marriage. You understand? So you define your relationships, very important. Know who you can push what to, who you can trust with what. Sometimes you don't even trust your friends with some information. You have to talk to a therapist or a coach, along your journey. So if you need a business advice, you don't go to your best friend because they're just friends. You go to your business consultant and all of that. So once you're able to define your relationships, then you're able to know what to push where. But originally the design is for the marriage to be a place of security for both people.
Parties.
So it means that the fact that he's my best friend doesn't mean that he can solve all my problems.
I like that clarity.
If just like what he said, when I'm having business problems, he's not the one who can solve it. He might not be able to solve it. He might be able to, but there could be someone else, maybe who's my friend as well. When I'm having issues with whatever, anything, it could just be that it's not him, but I can talk to him about everything. But he should not expect to want to be the savior, all the time. Yes,
Thank you very much for that, because I'm sure that there are people that they're like, I share the same sentiments, I share the same perception as it. That if you feel like if you can't get to the point with your partner where you're able to tell them everything, then like you said, David is
wrong.
Pressure Tiwa.
Okay,
so we're wrapping up gradually. So I'm going to say a lot of things out of general perception because I never married. But then there's this perception that the first year in marriage is the toughest. She or true? Or true? I like the look on their faces, like we can't relate.
I'm trying to remember.
I think that
maybe the reason why people say that is because you're just getting to know each other. But we were not just getting to know each other.
But you guys are just getting, so like the reality of.
But I get it. Yes, it's true. More like, okay, now we live in the same house. You don't like laying in bed. Me, I like laying in bed. I can't sleep on bed that is not lit. And for some people it could be an issue. But for us it wasn't. Babe, please get up. I want to lay
get up.
Babe, please. Like I just get up. Until you actually get up. And it's not bad. Like we have different things that we probably grew up with or whatever. Do you get? So for some people it could have been a major issue. For us,
it wasn't.
I don't remember.
So I think that.
But okay, yes. I remember that several times we have misunderstandings, things that were not.
Yeah.
Like you look back now, you're like, really.
Yeah, but Bolo, I want to know, like, thanks for that, Larry. But then I also want to know, because I feel like for it to be a general perception is because it happens to a good
lot
number
of
of
people,
people.
yeah.
And it could also be because of certain issues. So like, Bolo, what do you think can or could have been or can be the possible reasons why the first year? Because I'm glad that you guys had a seemingly, good first
No,
year.
it
wasn't
no,
seemingly
It wasn't
no.
really good.
No, so let me
Sorry,
put perspective
let me
to it.
Okay.
So, in fact, statistics says first 2 years.
Yeah.
And our first year, we will argue every time, and we'll resolve it every time. We had down the mutual understanding that she brought it up that we'll never go to bed angry with each other. So we'd have to solve. When it's 2 a.m., we have to solve that issue before we go to sleep. Right?
And it started from when we did it.
Yeah. So we were able to at every point, put a knife to every issue.
Yeah.
Right. But we were having that head on
Plenty.
consistently, for at least the first year. But I think our person as well helped us to be able to navigate that season so well that we have forgotten how
I like
bad
that.
it was.
Yeah.
I like that.
So well that we're pushing 7 years now. I mean, it's not,
now.
we can't remember the first year how bad it was really. But yes, it would always happen. In fact, I read a book by Gary Chapman, 4 Seasons of Marriage, and it's the first 2 years, and after which you go the summer, the winter, and all the
spring,
different
autumn.
seasons that you have, in America. Not in Nigeria, because we have like 3 seasons, 4, so, but that's it's normal. So if you're newlyweds and there are issues, it's not peculiar to you.
I mean,
They're bound to be.
Your WhatsApp group.
They're bound to be issues. Even let me put some context here. Let me bring Jesus into it. Right?
Please do, by all means.
Where we know we read in the Bible that Jesus is the pattern. The way he loves the church, that's why the man should.
Yeah.
That's how even Jesus has issues. Right?
He had issues.
We had it. You need to know
When in the
it's an
church, he had
issue.
issues. When in
Yes,
church,
now.
when in church, the people
When
that
we
were saying
flogged
that
them
they
and
were
chased
Do
them
you
out.
understand?
So-
Today, I mean, we wrong Jesus at every point. So there's bound to be that friction, until there's a mutual understanding, and the understanding doesn't come once. In fact, we spent good time, while we were dating, getting to know each other. But then it was like when you got married, everything went into the trash and you started over again.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So this is you.
So this is you.
You know.
Yeah.
I think it was then that I realized that it doesn't really have eyebrows. What you're saying
So you realize when you guys got married that she didn't have eyebrows.
What's his makeup, right? And
Wow.
I also realized, you get to meet yourself as well.
Yeah.
I realized that I'm a mess. Who is this guy?
The honesty for me.
Yeah, because I think I was more in public eye then before we got married.
Yeah.
I think one of the lines I used on that was like, I'm going to make you famous.
You told her you're going to make
He was
her
always saying that.
Yeah.
He actually did.
Because she was venturing something
He
I was
actually
already,
He actually did.
I had expertise in, but so in the eye of people, I was like, the ideal guy.
Yeah.
Until I got married and I realized that you're not
ideal,
nothing. So I realized that I had a lot of work to do on myself, because what I would just close my eyes to, like, like jump on the bed, like the bed is on this, and all that. And then she would, so we had to now create a balance and all of that. And now we remember it, and it's interesting. We laugh about so many of these things, but we realize that there are people who are currently experiencing what we experienced, and they can't take it.
You can't take it.
Yeah.
Marriages are broken because of that, and only if you, I won't say persevere, because that might not really give you the context. There's this concept that's everywhere, about self-love versus self-care. A lot of people promoting self-love and saying, you need to love yourself. And I don't think that's a concept that is even possible. It's not logical, and I can prove it scientifically as well. You can't love yourself, right? Self-care is important. Now, the human is measured by 4 characteristics according to occupational therapy, which I studied. The activities of daily living, performance model, right? Activities of daily living, these are performance areas, work and productivity, leisure and rest, right? So if you look at what you're doing every day, your activities, daily living, how are you doing that? You know, your productivity and your work, your finances and stuff like that, you know, how you're changing the society. And you're also looking at, you know, leisure, or how you're resting, how your social gatherings, going for parties, relating with people, and then rest. Those are 4 criticals. And so you're doing well in your productivity, and you're doing well in activity of daily living. You're not complete, you know, and all of that, you know. So if you're looking at investing in your activities of daily living, or your rest or leisure, you know, by going on vacay and all of that's fine, it's okay, because eventually it improves your performance as a person.
All around,
You understand? But the concept that you should put yourself first above other people is not a natural concept. It's not a human concept, you know. And so it makes the society explode or implode, whatever. There's implode.
Right.
You know, it's something that crumbles the society when you try to put yourself first. It's not a natural phenomenon, and I can prove it with even with animals, right? You know, so that's one thing that will make a marriage work. That don't self-love. It's not a concept that you can do. Self-care is important, you know, because it helps you to be in a better perspective to even help
the other
person, you know. But also consider that person first, you know, consider others first. You know, if you're trying to build a big business, consider other people's problems. The more the people that you're able to solve the problem, the better it is for you, or the more rewarding it is for you. You know, so that's how the more the problems, you know, so go out there to solve your partner's problems rather than solving yours.
And I like that, you know, I think with this conversation we have broadly said it, you know, and I mean, this is what they have only said this based on the well of their own experience. You know, I think it's also key to do more research, research externally, research internally, and, you know more about your partner. That's all I can hear, like, know more about your partner. It's not just you in this thing, it's you and your partner. So if you like rice and your partner doesn't like rice, you know, there's nothing, and your partner likes beans, nothing wrong with cooking rice and beans. Let's just see how we can enjoy it better. So
and there should be a reason why the other person doesn't like it.
I know some people don't like rice for medical reasons.
You know, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, seem to know why. Don't just start fighting the person because
know why the person doesn't like rice, and don't force it on the person to eat rice. Okay, it's funny I was using this rice and beans example, but let me just, because of time, I'll throw one question to Bolu, one question to you. So let me start with you.
Okay.
Right. No, let me start with Bolu, because the question I want to ask you is like the wrap-up question. So Bolu, get from dating to getting married, you know, we hear a lot, there are a lot of things you need to talk. We've heard now, communicate with your partner, you guys are best friends, you know. As a couple that has been married for 7 years now, I'm sure that you kind of know some things that are basic: finances, children, you know, getting a house, getting a car, joint conversations, joint agreements. What are the things that you feel like should be addressed before marriage, as two people planning to become one? What are the things that, you know, maybe like 2 things that you know that they need to talk about before they decide to get married?
Okay, the first thing is everything.
Yeah, I like that.
It's key. It's key. You know, get to know everything, you know, as much as you can. Of course, because the human want is insatiable, you know, you cannot really find out everything about a person, you know, so as much as you can, you know, you should find out almost everything, know their background, know where they're coming from, you know, what their perspective to life is, what they're going in for, do they have a plan, or do they just live freely, you know, and all of that, because those are the things that shape, you know, marriage, shape culture, shape whatever we are, you know. So if you don't know and you go into marriage without awareness, you know, it ends in bitterness. I said that to rhyme. That's the only reason why I said that, just to rhyme.
So, like,
I just wanted to rhyme.
No, you even said it right. I think that just, like,
awareness and bitterness.
Awareness, like, but then you said everything, like, just know about everything. So just to pick your words, like, know what the idea is about finances. How do you think? Because now we hear a lot of who should pay the bills rather than how do we pay the bills. I was telling someone the other day, like, there's a lot of who should, than how do we in marriage.
Yeah.
You know,
I
it's
mean,
like,
it shouldn't even be a conversation.
yeah, like, so
in the
how do
first
we make it collective? Who do we already make it like it has to be one person? So know their finances, know what their plan is for the future, how many children we want to have, the things we want to do. Are we relocating? Are we staying here? You know, are we buying a space bus or a saloon car first?
Yeah.
So those questions are key. Okay, thanks, Bo. Let me throw the last question to Larry here. Based on both of you now, what two things have you guys, I mean, apart from God, and I think I said this when I was talking to Debola as well, apart from, because God is always key in a union. Apart from God, what two things do you think has kind of gathered you guys and put you guys together that you've leaned on so much to help you guys stand firm?
For me, I think one is communication. Sincerely, Bolu doesn't talk much. You know, it's very intellectual. He doesn't talk much. You know, and I talk. I like to talk. I like to express myself. You know, because I don't like assumptions. You know, so a lot of times we've had to talk. Sometimes, even if we fight, let's talk. You know, this is it. This is. I mean, there was a day Bolu had planned a surprise birthday party for me. And I blasted this guy in Ventura. Because I was expecting, you know, that's another thing, managing expectations.
Right.
You know, that one is like a topic on its own. So we can't start. You know, we're dating and I was expecting, you know, I said, babe, even if it's a small cake, you didn't even do anything. What's happening? I was like, some people are holding him, blah, blah. All those things were just
to get you to Ventura. I think I was there as well on that day.
I did not remember.
I was there.
Thank God you were there.
I was there.
This guy had planned, had cooked up, in fact, you know, and I feel so bad for that.
It's okay.
You know, so yeah, number one is communication.
Yeah.
Number two is contentment. Contentment. You have to be content. For us, you know, like I said when we were discussing, you know, there was someone who just said, why is it that everything around you just speaks peace, you know, no chaos, no, you know, it just looks like everything. And I told him, I said, we're content. It's not like we don't want the finest things, you know, of life. We do, you know, but we're content with we understand that everything is a phase, there are seasons, you know, and you have to pass every phase, you know, and there's always a lesson, there's always something you have to pick from every phase, you know, that will now take you to the next phase. So for us, it's contentment, you know, learning how to be content. And I've had a third one, dying to self daily. I was telling him last week or 2 weeks ago, I said, babe, that day I came to apologize to you, it wasn't because I wanted to apologize to you. I was hurt. And it wasn't like we had a big major fight. I wasn't in the mood to talk. I was cranky. I was tired. I wanted to go home. And then we had to, you know, queue at a few stations to get, which was also very important, but I just wanted to get home, you know. And I just didn't want to talk. And then he was like, babe, you're not even talking, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, babe, leave me.
Like, I'm not in the mood for that.
That day I was like, please, just leave me. I don't want to talk, you know, because I was actually I was worked out and everything. And we go home, we're not talking and everything. And then all of a sudden, Holy Spirit said, go and talk, go and apologize to this guy. And I'm like, apologize, okay? For what? I've not
done anything wrong.
You get? And I carried my 2 left feet and I actually went to apologize. I just touched his hand. It's like that touch. Just passed something.
And everything just calmed down.
And then we just talked, we just hugged and then that was it. So I was not telling him that, babe, it wasn't like I really wanted to apologize.
Yeah.
It was just, you know, an act of obedience. And that's what I do. That's what he does as well. You know, everything's not gra-gra. Sincerely, it's not easy to say, I'm sorry, or, you know, to just own up.
Especially when you're not at fault.
You know, but obedience is very key. Listening is also very key because last, all these things that we're fighting about.
To what end?
You know, there's no... It's a fight. It's not a fight with your spouse. It's just the devil that wants to break you up. So the point is, who is causing this fight? It's not your husband.
Right.
It's not. You know, so open your eyes and see.
And be
Smell
discerning.
the room. Yes.
So from what I picked from you, communication, contentment, and dying to self. What me I would pick out is the fact that it's not all the time you're right or the all the time you're wrong. But once it becomes a marriage, it's not about who's right or who's wrong.
Yeah.
I think the end goal should be, how do we resolve this? So dying to self simply means that you're putting aside that pride and ego that is like, well, I'm not the one that's offended him now. If you have to apologize because you need to resolve something, then why not if not? Because that's a whole lot of work, having to apologize. I don't know that I did not do anything wrong. And I love that for you. So let's do it in 30 seconds. Bolo, let me ask you this. I like that first year for you guys it was good, and I think it's the grace of God, because you have a lot of marriages that the first year it's never getting up to a year and they're done, but was there a time in your marriage that you guys, because I know that a good marriage is built from you being able to weather the storm. Nobody said it's going to be easy. Was there a year in your marriage or a time in your marriage that you guys, was a trying time for you guys, and if you guys not collectively solve it, it would have crashed? And what did you do to make it?
So I think we're before we even got married, we were dead enough that didn't happen. I don't think that we've had anything that was. We've never had a third party in our marriage, and we're pushing 7 years. Not one person say, "I'll report you to your daddy," or "I'll go to your pastor." Not one person. So it's never been that bad that one extra person will come into this, apart from God, right? She's written letters to God about me, and when I see them, like,
written letters to God about you.
Yeah,
like
actually.
I'm reporting you to God.
Yeah, and I see sometimes I come across those things. I'm like, oh, okay, you can't.
You don't have to go that far.
I fear God too much for you to do that. No,
Right.
Let's resolve this thing on earth. Don't let's go to heaven. So I don't think there's been any time when I'm too insensitive to see how much she's hurting, and then I can't lay down and apologize for even when I don't think, it's not been that challenging.
And I think that's why it was easy for her to also be able to apologize, because it's give and take. It's the energy that, if I see that is an energy I'm receiving from you, it's easy for me to also reciprocate, right?
Yeah. Or should I say that maybe destiny is not emotional? So eventually when we think, we're not making our decisions based on what we feel, but what we must do. So she would obey the prompting to come and apologize.
I walked to the other side of the road and I was standing there. It was drizzling. I started thinking, babe, no money, no wallet,
No
your phone
bag.
is dead. Who will help you now? Who will you call? This guy is with another child, He was with the second child.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we had two agree.
Yes.
So we now split.
Was it
Ewa.
Okay.
I was carrying somebody. I was
And there
carrying
was one in
Ewa.
the car. So one will go with daddy, one will go with mom. Thank God it didn't happen.
But then he recognized that I was burnt out. I was overwhelmed. I was tired. Like stress. It wasn't anything else. It was stress. And he recognized that.
Yeah.
And then he came to meet me and then he said, sorry, blah, 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 babe, let's go inside. I was like, I'm not going anywhere. It was funny. I was laughing after as I was like, he actually happened.
Wow.
And then he now, said, you know what? I think you when we talked about later, he
Yeah.
was like, I think you have to, go somewhere.
Yeah, and just
You know,
rest.
yes.
You need to just let something steam out.
I think I did now.
I was thinking, she not transfer for that phone.
Are you want to say by the road? But that's actually good because I like that this particular quarrel conversation came to light because we need to know. I think we need to understand.
People have issues.
I think there's just a general thing when people believe that I'm just unfortunate. No, I'm just not lucky. But if like
Everybody.
marriage adversaries will come.
Yes.
It is normal. I think, and I'm a strong believer of the fact that the things that make the marriages better are the things that are first uncomfortable for you. Like you have to. That is when you feel that discomfort. See me preaching.
Hey,
You
Pastor
preach
Joe.
it, girl.
When you feel that discomfort, you already know what it feels to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You already know how it affects your partner. Then you already know, okay, I can't do this because I see how I'm affected and I see how it affects my partner. And I really like that I brought you guys on here because 7 years, I'm personally related to you people. I see that you have a blessed marriage. And I
Thank
know
God.
that's why I had to ask. No, I see that you have a blessed marriage. People say these days marriages don't work, marriages don't last, but see, you are what you become, you are what you
What
build.
you believe, and yeah.
I'm a believer of the fact that amidst everything, if it's only 1% marriages or marriage, if you have just 1% of marriages that work, then why not just let yours be part of
part
that
of
one?
it, yeah.
So I really like that you guys came here in your honor. Find out what dark matter
That's
is.
yeah.
Dark energy is.
Dark energy,
Okay.
dark matter. Yeah. So that's if you're okay. Number
Google,
two.
go and Google it.
Do you check yourself out in the windows when you pass?
Don't lie.
Sure.
You do. I say sure. Like,
How would
have
I
you
check
seen
myself?
me?
I do.
Okay.
Sometimes I even step back like,
Oh, my son.
Yes.
Okay.
What is something trendy now that people will be embarrassed about? Go get trendy.
Right? Oh my God.
What's
Kiss and grab.
Don't worry.
We have one more.
Go on. Go on.
You
Look
understand
We
it?
Go
have
on,
to,
look
I
for it.
see. We have to
Go
do-
to TikTok
What's kiss
or-
and grab? Please tell me in the comment
So it's
section what kiss and grab
yeah.
is.
Go tell her.
Please tell me what kiss and grab is in the
Watch
comment
and
section.
learn. It's,
Wow.
It's
It's
God,
interesting,
it's
right? Awful. Please, you tell us after. But please, I want you to tell me in the comment section what you think.
For me,
kiss
I
and
actually think it's
Nudity.
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 I was going to say nudity.
It's all they're all
Nudity.
they're cousins.
Yeah, they are related.
No.
Yeah, I
So
mean-
kiss and grab and nudity. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. It's been really fun. We are done. Larry, please give me your papers. Give me your papers. Thank you. Please look at each other. Thank you. Larry, I want you to leave a love note for Bolo.
She does
Bolo,
that
I want
every-
you to
every
leave a
night.
love note. for
Love
Larry.
notes for you.
Say hi, Bolo. A note. Say dear Bolo.
Dear Bolo Atife,
Oh.
loving you is sweet.
Oh.
And that's because your heart is pure, your heart is sweet, and you're just all shades of amazing. And I am taking this time out to say I love you so much.
Oh
Love,
my gosh.
Idunu.
Love Ijunu. Aww. Evo, let me hear yours.
Dear, it do not come in.
Oh, goodness.
Olanrewaju. I've learned to chase the best things in life. That's why I'm right after you. Let me drop this pen in the love. What kind of love? Doxology.
Doxology. Wow.
XO.
Please, you guys, this is the part
Kisses.
where I'm like, can you just go and get a room? And can you not?
There's a room here.
But that was so nice. I like that you guys were able to say it because some people can't honestly say it. That was so. I think that's the highlight of this conversation. Long conversation. If you watch till the end,
You
you're
try.
an OG.
Let's clap for
I'm
this.
just yes. If you actually watch till the end, thank you for watching till the end. I'm sure it was a very interesting conversation. Please follow Bolu on Instagram at Bolu Onasanyas and follow Larry at
Auntie
Larry. Their handles will be, of course, down the screen. So please